What's up, guys? Welcome back to Newswave. Bunch of stuff happened yesterday, along with some sales figures that have finally come out for Splatoon 2, specifically in the UK, where it actually ended up placing pretty good if you compare it to the original Splatoon. It still did not hit number 1, but you know what? Let's just get started with that. And here we go, guys. Let's just take a look at the charts right away. We have Crash Bandicoot, which will not go away in the UK, by the way. It's a very popular selling game right now. The PS4, of course, is very popular there in the UK, as it is in most places in the world, but Nintendo is not as strong in the UK. It's not really a region that they, I guess, target heavily. That's kind of a place where some Switches go to, but the vast majority obviously go to Japan and the United States. However, let's look through there. Splatoon 2 is brand new on the charts, obviously, and it placed at number 2. According to raw numbers that people have been putting out there, Splatoon 2 is at 28,000, which puts it 59% above when Splatoon 1 launched in the UK. Of course, Splatoon 1 was a new IP, whereas Splatoon 2 is a sequel to that IP. So there's a good chance you get most of the people who like the first one to buy this, and then maybe some people who have never tried it get into it now. So you have that little bit of an effect there where you get new customers, and then the old customers that the original Splatoon did not have the ability to do. And then number 3 was Grand Theft Auto 5, up from number 5 slot up to 3. GTA 5 also will never go away. I cannot believe how much selling power this game has. It is absolutely insane. I feel like most people have bought it by now, but every time I say that, it then places high in the NPDs, or in this case, on the UK charts. Number 4 was Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, which tells me the UK did get more Switches, because that's a game that fell all the way to 13 and now randomly jumps up to number 4. I have a feeling a lot of people got their hands on the Switch this week in the UK, and they're going to pick up Mario Kart 8 because, let's face it, guys, it's Mario Kart, obviously. You're going to buy that, and I guess Zelda, which was at number 6. 5 was Overwatch. 7 was the Zodiac Age, Final Fantasy 12 Remake, of course, for the PS4. FIFA 17 below that, which is a big seller over there, obviously. It's going to sell well, I think, on the Switch, the new FIFA, when that goes to it, just because it's portable FIFA. And then Fallout 4 and LEGO Worlds round out the bottom 2 slots. And really, I look at that, and I see a really good ranking there for Splatoon 2, just based on how many Switches are actually there and how much of a stranglehold the PS4 has on Europe. That's not bad for Splatoon 2. I think that's right where Nintendo is okay with. I think they're fine with it being at the number 2 slot, although based on raw numbers, again, it seems like they missed the number 1 spot by like 1,000, because apparently the Splatoon 2 sold 28,000 and Crash sold about 29,000. This, however, from what I've gathered, does not include digital sales. So there is a chance, if you include digital sales, that maybe Splatoon 2 does take number 1, since I have to say I've looked around and I actually think that digital to physical buy rate is like half and half. So there's a chance that Splatoon 2 did take the number 1 slot, even if you add in all the digital sales as well. Now, of course, the big thing we're going to look for is media crates, which we will see in about a day. And there are some estimates coming out right now from a lot of outlets everywhere, media outlets, and I guess just sales trackers, where they are estimating the Splatoon 2 crossed about 500,000 sales in Japan in 2 days, and that is insane. That's big time right there, and I think it's something that Nintendo was expecting in Japan. I don't know if this media create coming up will have the digital sales for Splatoon 2, so we may have to figure that out on our own. But if they did sell 500,000 units in the first 2 days, there's a chance that that was definitely a million-unit seller in its first day. Like number 1 all around the world, you lump them all together, it was at least 1 million units sold, which is massive for Splatoon 2, because that tells me, all right, the first Splatoon sold somewhere in there of like 4.5 million, I think, lifetime. That tells me that Splatoon 2 will easily crush that, and because it came out early in this system's lifespan, I don't know when there will be a Splatoon 3, if at all on the Switch. It might fall to the next system. In this case, yes, we may see Splatoon 2 even double sales. Would that be insane if Splatoon 2 eventually crossed 8 million units sold on what could eventually be a 30 million install base on the Switch in the next couple of years? I think that would be pretty good for Splatoon 2. We're just going to see the media crates. I will keep you guys updated. I'm really looking forward to the number of Switches sold and Splatoon 2. Next up, we're going to talk about the modding community around Zelda and the Cemu application that runs Wii U games on your computer pretty well. They're still working a lot of it out. Of course, we've talked about this emulator a good bit on here, right? That's running ISOs from Wii U games, and Breath of the Wild was the biggest one, because they seem to be getting it to run better on computers than it runs on the Switch or the Wii U at this point, with things like 4K resolution and high-def textures and 60 frames per second. Well, it looks like the modding community is looking to take it one step further, and they're going to add co-op multiplayer to Zelda. This was discussed on Discord. There's a modding Discord that they all kind of hang out and talk on for the most part from what I'm gathering here, and it looks like a user by the name of Funi talked on the Discord to others about how them and then a couple others are working on a multiplayer mod that will run at this time locally on one computer with local controls. So you have two different controllers or different keyboard binds, however you want to do it. And you're going to have two different people on the same game running around playing together. Now, currently it's an extremely early development to where you need two instances of Cemu running with obviously two different people controlling on either side, and it becomes kind of unstable according to them. But right now it does work. They've even taken screenshots showing that it works. And at this point, are we going to really come to a time where this version of Zelda is better than Breath of the Wild on the Switch or the Wii U? I think it's going to be tough because, well, Nintendo can't compete with a massive army of modders who are going to sit there and program and design for a game that they just love so much. I mean, in this case, I will say the developers of Cemu are receiving a pretty hefty amount every month in the tune of around 22 or 23,000 on Patreon. So they are getting some money for it, but according to them, that's really going into developing the emulator further for the Wii U. And of course, Zelda is going to be the one they focus on the most because it is arguably the biggest Wii U release of the previous year, and going forward, it's going to be it. That's the big game they're going to have left to modify. So I would expect Zelda to be heavily modified going forward as they come up with new ideas and just try to keep that game alive. I will say, according to Funi, it will take quite a while. Like, they're talking possibly years before it's even released. And there's a chance, which this sounds kind of odd, but there's a chance that Nintendo steps in and stops it from happening. They probably won't stop the Cemu emulator because we've been through this. It's a very weird, I guess, litigation process, but apparently emulators are not illegal. They're completely legal as open source tools, but people who are directly modifying the game's code can be pretty much cease and desisted by Nintendo. So there's a chance it may never see the light of day because Nintendo may come in and just say, hey, stop developing that. Here's a letter from our lawyers. Unless you want to go to court, you're going to stop this cold turkey. And then they would. Next up, we have Sims 4. I know it's an older game, but there was an interesting listing that popped up on the Microsoft Store that is revealing that it might be showing up for the Xbox One later this year. Now, the listing looks extremely authentic. Obviously, it's on the Microsoft Store, so we would assume it is. It's not just a mistake because they also talk about things like a pre-order bonus that you can get, and then it does show the symbol for the Xbox One as being another system you can get it for, because of course Microsoft is pushing a massive push for kind of cross-buy. So you get it on one, you get it on the other. And it looks like if you're a fan of The Sims, you can be playing it on your Xbox One S, your Xbox One X, or even the original. And at this point, why not? It's just an extra game to put on the Xbox One that's not on the PS4. The Sims 4 has been on the PC this whole time, and if they can get it to the Xbox One, which it looks like they will, and there is no PS4 version, that technically is a new exclusive for the Xbox One. Even though the game's a little older, there's a chance there's a lot of people who own Xbox One that have never played The Sims 4. So you know what? It's another game for the Xbox One, and I hope it does happen because Microsoft needs games for the Xbox One that the PS4 does not have. Now, several places like Game Informer and Kotaku and all the big publications have reached out to EA, and they've simply said we have nothing to announce at this time. I don't know if it was like an early listing on the Microsoft Store or what. Maybe EA is just not ready to announce it, but at this point, I mean, it's on the Microsoft Store. I have to imagine it's coming, and they have posted a release date in November, so that release date might not be correct, but November could be a good time for it to come out in the holiday season, at least leading up to the holiday season. So if you're a fan of The Sims 4 and you have an Xbox One, you'd rather play it on that system, you know what, at this point, I would say more than likely it is coming to that system. Next up, guys, let's talk about the pre-orders at Walmart for the Super Nintendo Classic. A lot of people went nuts because randomly Walmart said, hey, come order Super Nintendo Classics from us. We have them in stock. You can pre-order them and you will get them on release date. And everyone freaked out on Twitter. The site kind of crashed for a minute and then it came back and it sold out in like 5 minutes, right? Well, according to Walmart, you know what? That was an accident because it wasn't supposed to be there. I did think it was a little weird the way it just launched out of nowhere and everyone just randomly found out and freaked out about it. It was odd that there was no official announcement ahead of time. So in this case, Walmart has told several people, customer service agents on the website, that, hey, yeah, that was an accident, and we're gonna have to cancel now. All of them are being canceled according to them. In some time soon, you'll start to get an email that said, sorry, it's been canceled, or maybe your order status on your profile page there will be updated. So it looks like it was an accident. They're waiting to get the pre-order SKUs and the amount that they'll actually be allotted, and then they'll probably do an official release where they announce it ahead of time. Everybody goes in pre-orders. Hopefully they have enough. That's the big thing people are terrified of right now. We saw the Nintendo Classic. Now we're automatically terrified of the Super Nintendo Classic, and with good reason, because you think the Nintendo Classic was hot. Star Fox 2, an unreleased game, and a Super Nintendo that most people now remember really vividly, and it has Mario and everything on it. Yeah, this is going to be ridiculous. So I hope they have enough systems allotted for all these retailers. Man, it's going to be so tough. Just keep an eye out for, even if you have it pre-ordered at Walmart, assume that it's canceled, and just keep tabs on Target, Amazon, all these places other than Walmart as well, so you can be there when it goes live and get your pre-order in. And our last bit of news today, it has to do with Stardew Valley. Now, I know a lot of people are really excited for Stardew Valley to be coming to the Switch because it looks like it has some pretty cool features, things like co-op, where you use 2 different Joy-Cons on the same screen. And overall, it's Stardew Valley, which is an awesome game. If you don't have it on the PC right now, honestly, you might as well go buy it because it is a good game. Well, it looks like there may be some delay going on here because originally that was going to be kind of one of those summer indie titles that came out for the Switch, but an interesting thing happened where their website changed the release from summer 2017 to just 2017. And this is kind of throwing a lot of people off right now because, well, what's going on? It's not just them. There's several other ones that have been having issues here. We saw the wrestling game, WWE 2K18, randomly say it's going to be later. It's not going to be on the same day all of a sudden. Same with NBA 2K18. People are talking about how that date is changing as well. Specifically, if they have it pre-ordered, they're getting emails that say, well, it's the date's changing. That's weird. We also have like Pocket Rumble. Remember that game that was supposed to come out in March? I don't know. No one knows what happened there, but it's still not out. And at this point, I'm not really sure what's going on. There are all those rumors about Nintendo being a little hard to work with when it comes to getting stuff out in a timely manner. Maybe that's not so much a rumor. Maybe they're running into some issues here with these kind of communication back and forth to make sure everything's like straight across the board. So I'm not sure what's going on here. It's a shame if Stardew Valley misses the summer launch window like they were trying to get to, but as long as it comes out in 2017 and is there for the holidays when the Switch will be pretty much in full force for Nintendo, that's really what matters. Yeah, it's a shame, but I've played Stardew Valley to death at this point. So I might pass up on the Switch, but man, would it be awesome to be able to take it with me, like locally like that, and then, of course, be able to break off the Joy-Cons and have someone else help me chop down trees in my farm. That's it for Newswave today, guys. Make sure you comment, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Let me know what you think about the stuff we talked about today, whether it is the Splatoon 2 sales, and maybe you are expecting that 500,000 mark from Media Crates in Japan. I don't know if it covers digital. If it doesn't, I wouldn't expect that much. I think it's half and half, so maybe in the 250,000 mark in physical copies, and then another 200 or so thousand in digital copies. Either way, I think Splatoon 2 is going to do much better than the first one, as we've seen in the UK charts. Also, let me think about the multiplayer mod for Zelda. Is that something you would want Nintendo to add to the game, like a multiplayer co-op option? I mean, why not, right? Let's add that in, Nintendo. Come on. Also, let me know if you did get a pre-order for Walmart and if you've already had it canceled for the Super Nintendo Classic, or is yours still on? I'm curious. That's it for now, guys. I'll see you next time.